Yes? What did you get? Your toy? As always, Jamie wants attention. Hello, my little lovers, my lovely little children. How are you doing today? I hope you are having a good day, good week, weekend, whatever time you are watching. I hope you are well. I was looking at videos that I have done this year, and it has been 6 months since I went on a chopping spree and chopped a lot of my moss poles. So I thought today I will give you a little update on the moss poles, and I think just my moss poles itself. So the collection of moss poles that I have, because more or less or not, I have a lot of moss poles, okay? Sydney plant guy, I am coming for you. As my inspiration, I have lots of moss poles now. I will start off with showing the comparisons and what the plants are like now since their chop. And then I will show you my other moss poles and what I've got growing on them. Little secret, this is not tea. This is a warm cup of chocolate milk because I'm a child. Without any further delay, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to make sure your hopes and dreams aren't shattered too much because some of this update aren't great since I chopped. So I'm just gonna keep your level of expectation like around here, okay? I don't want your expectations up here because that's too high of a standard to expect from me. Oh, my lights are turning off now, and now I'm just stuck with these. So the first update I'm going to show you is my Philodendron melanocrosnium. I'm going to try and edit clips or whatever I can in this corner of a previous state it was in that 6-month update, and then this is kind of what it looks like now. Pretty empty until you get to the bottom, so it's not amazing. Ever since I chopped it, it kind of really slowed down growing. I think it wasn't really growing well previously either, before I chopped it. I've always kind of struggled with the Milano. Like sometimes I get it just right and it grows so quickly and amazingly, and then other times it's not right and it just doesn't grow. And I think a problem is low humidity. I feel like Milanos really struggle if the humidity just isn't right. It just can't unfurl leaves without it rotting or dropping off, and I think it needs so much more light than I anticipate. So it's under a grow light, and since I've like moved it kind of to be more in the grow light, it has grown that new leaf here, as you can see, just there. So I'm hoping from this it will kind of keep going a little bit. The humidity is a bit better than it was. Fingers crossed. It's got a really, really big pole because I was just anticipating it to go whoosh and just absolutely sprig up, size up, but I'm gonna keep it like this with a long pole because this is its goal, and you will hit that goal, all right? And it will do it at some point, but I'm sure it will be fine. That's my philodendron. We'll do a positive one, which is my philodendron solery. This is it before the chop, and then now this is it afterwards. So I chopped the solery into loads and loads of pieces, and it wasn't actually rooting on the moss pole when I chopped it. So I had to wait for a while for a cutting to kind of take and root. When I then had one that was rooting, I attached it to the moss pole, but then it immediately just flopped and didn't work. So I had a couple going as backups to make sure that I can, you know, at least have one. Since I chopped it, it's taken a little while to really like get into it, but it is now starting to produce new leaves. So hopefully it will actually start to size up and it will grow really quickly. So it's positive, but also not great at the same time, but I've got pretty good hope for this. This one just took longer because I needed something to root. But the moss pole's really green. Like, look how green the moss is inside. It's growing really well. And next I will show an update to my Philodendron verrucosum. So this was it before I chopped it. Oh my god, it was glorious. It had big leaves. It looked fantastic. And this is it now. Yeah, I don't really have it anymore. I've got one cutting or two in my cabinet that is alive. It's not really doing much. So I'm kind of waiting for these cuttings to grow its roots out, and then I can attach it to a moss pole and then try again. That plant really hated that chop. It really hated it. I think maybe I was a bit too brutal with that chop, which, you know, fair enough. I did go a bit overboard with it. You live and you learn. I might end up just getting a whole new plant to try again, but who knows. I've got some little ones and let's see if they take off. Anyway, let's end on a nice positive note and an update. I realised I actually didn't do that many in that video. This is kind of like the end of the update. It's a bit after the 6 months. So this is the Splendid. Now, this is what the Splendid looked like. Amazing, really cute. This is it now. So this Splendid has absolutely loved the chop, and it's only kind of in recent times it has decided to size the F up, okay? It is becoming really, really cool. So it started off tiny down there, and then now it's this big, beautiful leaf. I'm really sad. Got trapped and it kind of ripped itself here, but there is another new leaf coming, I think, on this one. Yes, up here. And I think, look at the size of it already. It's gonna probably be much bigger than this one. This one's going to my hand. It's already at the top, so it's gonna need an extension again. But this one's really loved it. It's really sized up and it's looking so beautiful. I'm so happy. I've always wanted a really big Splendid. It's so exciting for me, and it's got a new leaf down here from the second one growing. So we're ending on a high note of the 6 month update for this moss pole. And yeah, this is my Splendid. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my god, I have so many moss poles. How am I gonna fit this all in? So I think I'm gonna try and do it quickly and efficiently as possible and try not to long this out. So this moss pole is my Monstera Still Pancana. This Monstera was getting really big on a moss pole and it was like tiny, and it really outgrew that moss pole super quick. So I chopped all that up, waited for one of the bigger cuttings to actually grow through, and it's finally grown. So I attached it to this big moss pole, anticipating its massive growth spurt as soon as it's going to be on there. It's slowed down, but there's a new leaf coming and I can't wait to size it up, because Monstera Still Pancanas are just super cool when they're big and mature, and the fenestrations, I cannot wait to see those fenestrations. I can't tell you enough. So that's my Still Pancana. I have a Philodendron Atabapoense on a moss pole. I feel like I don't talk about this guy enough, but I absolutely love an Atabapoense. There's something about its really alienness, and it's so close to a Spiricus Sancti, which I want so bad. But yeah, I've put this on a moss pole and it's sized up quite good. This was one of its lower leaves, and then this one is its newer leaf, and it's getting there. It's getting like more elongated, which is what I really want. I really love this guy. Really wacky. Love him. Love him. I have Philodendron Florida Beauty. Now this guy was also on a moss pole before, and then I chopped him up because he just outgrew the moss pole. I waited it to grow and root and reattach to a much bigger pole, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they're gonna size up really nicely and mature even faster, because this was one of its biggest leaves and matured leaves. So it's kind of reset a little bit, but this is its newest leaf. that is just popped out, and it's absolutely gorgeous variegation on there. And this has been under a grow light. It's done really, really well under the grow light. So it's got a new leaf coming. And yeah, hopefully it will size up real quick. But this is my Florida beauty. And what a beauty it is. It's a beautiful. Next, I have my philodendron ghost. Now, you might spot the common theme. Most of the stuff on poles, moss poles, is philodendron. My philodendron ghost, I don't know what is going on with it, but all of its new leaves are hardly turning back to green, which is what it's meant to do. Like, as soon as it has a new leaf, it's white, like this new leaf that's just come through, and then it goes green, like its previous leaves. But this is quite an old leaf now, and it's kind of stayed this white minty colour. And the same with this one. It's gone all green on the underside, but not on the top. I mean, I'm not mad. It's really, really cool, but it's kind of crazy. It's not going properly green. But anyway, this is my philodendron ghost. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, like, look at this brand new spanking spooky leaf that it's pushed out. It's a huge leaf. This looks very maturing. Very maturing? It looks like it's maturing very well. But yeah, this is my philodendron ghost. And wowee, what a plant this one is. This is my Sigonium elbow on a moss pole. It's recently just put out an all white leaf, and it keeps having a few aphids, which really annoys me. Like, literally one or two. I'm just like, please stop. So yeah, it's pushed out this all white leaf set from like 2 little green marks right up here, which is kind of cute but kind of annoying because this leaf is technically dead and it doesn't do anything. I'm hoping it's not going to push out too many more all white leaves. I mean, this next leaf looks more green, but this leaf, new leaf coming, looks more white, so who knows what it's going to do. But I chopped this a while ago because it was like going up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't know if it is in a video somewhere, and I just redid it, reorganized it to go back down, and it's taken a while for it to get going again, but I like it much more now just because of it being more compact and tamed and actually looking really neat instead of a really windy up and down plant. But yeah, this is my Syngonium elbow on a moss pole. This guy is massive. I can barely get him into one frame, and this is my Al Choco Red on a round moss pole, the only round moss pole I have left. He is absolutely ginormous. Look at this, and this leaf as well. I can hardly get it into the frame of my phone, but look at this leaf. He is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love this plant so much. I'm so excited to see it grow more. There will be a point where I'm gonna move this into a D-shaped moss pole eventually. I don't want to mess with it because of just how gorgeous it is right now. I'm really worried about ruining that, but there will be a day where I will do that. But yeah, this is my Al Choco Red Juvenile on a moss pole. He's so big, like wowie. I've come to the next day because it got dark and I had to stop filming, so I'm gonna continue where I left off, I think, which was showing off my variegated bowl marks. I'm not gonna move him just because he's just so heavy, so we'll observe him from a distance. He's huge, he's pretty damn cool. He does very well. This is one of my other moss poles. Another philodendron that I love so much is this Philodendron Majestic. Now, I just can't get over this new leaf and how much it is sizing up with every new leaf it produces and how beautiful a Majestic is. I think if you don't own a Philodendron Majestic yet, then you probably should, because this is just beautiful and it shines so nicely in the light. Just an absolute gorgeous plant on a moss pole. I am very proud of him and how far it does come on that moss pole. It is very beautiful. I have got this Anthurium limon. I have shown him off in a previous video, but he has given me so many new leaves since being on this moss pole and under a grow light. It's got a new leaf coming, which I'm very excited about. I love this Anthurium so much. It is so beautiful. And I can't get over the size of this leaf. This is my hand for size. And it's just becoming more and more elongated, fat, knobbly bobbly. It's absolutely loving it. But yeah, he's doing so well. The moss pole. Can't wait to see how big this leaf will come on this moss pole. Boop, boop. Hopefully it will be just as big as this one. Hopefully even bigger. You gonna say hi to everybody? Thank you. Then the other Anthurium I have on the moss pole is actually a combination of two Anthuriums, which names I keep forgetting, and they both look very, very similar to each other, which makes it even harder. But it's this one and then this one. He's got a new leaf coming there. One of them is way more pointier than the other. And this one's more rounder. Yeah, this is the other Anthurium I have on a moss pole. I think it's gonna love it. It's starting to take into it, like this guy's rooted himself in. So hopefully it will start to size up as well. I think this moss pole is big enough for the both of them for now, until they get much bigger. I'm thinking about co-planting more on a moss pole. I'm not too sure. We'll see. We'll see. Turns out I have got more. So let's go back to philodendrons. So this is my philodendron glad hands. I got this one from a swap quite a while ago now. I think it was my first another plant swap in Birmingham. Oh, he's a bit dusty, I'm really sorry. But yeah, he's been on this moss pole. He hasn't been growing like amazingly well, but I don't think he's really in enough light and I don't have much space for everything. This one kind of is a bit like a Florida Beauty, Ghost, Green, whatever, but more elongated and narrow. And I think that's probably where the hands come from, because they're very like hand spindly like. But it's got a new leaf coming. This one's a philodendron glad hands. I'm glad you handed it to me. Last but not least, my last moss pole is a Ciba Blue. Now this guy is like out of control. I have put off sorting out this plant for a couple of years now. This moss pole is like no longer valid. There's not really much in this moss pole anymore. I really should sort this guy out and give it a new moss. Some of its leaves are growing massive. I think if it had a really nice new moss pole, had a trim with the newest growth, it would probably grow much bigger and actually fenestrate, which is what I kind of wanted. But I think because it's really restricted in this moss pole, and this moss pole is actually rubbish, it can't really do much. So I do need to, I just need to like actually put moss in it and kind of start it again. And I will do that. One day I will do that. There's a few plants I just really need to sort out that I've put off for at least 2 years. So maybe I'll just film that and sort out problematic plants, because that way then that actually motivates me doing it. So stay tuned for that one. I still love Ciba Blues. I do really want this one to fenestrate, and as soon as it does, I just know I'll be like, oh, I love you. And this one definitely doesn't get as much attention as it used to. Ciba Blues used to be really popular and really sought after, like a really rare, quotation marks, expensive plant, and now not many people love it anymore, which is really sad. I still love you, and I hope there are still people out there who love it too. Let me know your thoughts down below if you still love Ciba Blues. Anyway, that's that one. Let me put him back. Well, I think that is all of my moss poles, an update of all of the ones I chopped 6 months ago, and all the other things I've got on a moss pole. I think it'd be good to look at all the moss poles again in maybe another 6 months. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You know exactly what you're doing and you know exactly how to help me out. I hope you have a good weekend, weekday, and again, I'll see you next time. Goodbye, me lovers. Bye.